Chapter 1371. Olivia started the surgery. The heartache overwhelmed Marina more than the physical pain did. Being both mentally and physically in pain, she thought that this was the end of her life. Olivia wasn't going to let her off that easily. You know how many years I've been waiting for today. My beloved mother left me when I was young. She treated you so well and yet you didn't hesitate to hurt her and my father. Do you even know what I did just to save him? In the end, you took his life with a lift of a finger. Do you know how painful life was to me? The more she talked about it, the more strength she exerted in her moves. Marina yelled so much that her voice turned hoarse. Olivia, it was an accident. He's my father too. I didn't know. You're calling him your father. How dare you? Why aren't you the one who died, Marina Carlton? Dad was so excited to welcome my baby to the world. He made them toys, showing signs of being willing to live on. It's all because of you. You. Calm down, Olivia, calm down. Dad was such a nice guy, but he's no longer here. How could you have the nerve to continue with life? Why aren't you the one who's dead? God knew how crestfallen Olivia was back then. She was oblivious to Connor's true identity, terminally ill, and losing her only family. On the other hand, Marina, the sinner, was still alive. Grief clouded Olivia's features. Jeff's death was something she could never get over. It'd be difficult for her to walk out of the shadow of the pain. Whenever one bottled one's emotions for too long, one's reaction would be more vehement when those emotions came to the surface. Cold sweat washed Marina from head to toe before she lost consciousness. But minutes later, the pain pulled her back to consciousness again. She didn't know what Olivia was up to. Was Olivia going to kill her? Or cripple her for life? All she knew was that she kept pacing back and forth through death's door. It tasted like hell. Now, Marina simply wished she could die for once and for all. Seeing through Marina's thoughts, Olivia coldly snorted. Wanna die? It won't be easy. Olivia, I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. Just take my life. I'd rather choose death than get tortured. Olivia scoffed. I won't kill you. You're Dad's daughter, after all, the last of the bloodline. I'll make sure you live a long life. I want you to live every single day in repentance. What are you trying to do, Olivia? Horror devoured Marina whole. Olivia had gone nuts. You'll find out soon. Olivia's gaze gave Marina dreadful chills, and Marina's hunch whispered warnings of a bleak future ahead of her. Olivia Fordham, if you do anything to me, Fabian will never let this slide that easily. Despite her hatred for Fabian, he was the only person who could protect her. Olivia giggled. I know, because he loves you, to an obsessive extent. How do you know that? When I first came to the Carlton residence to examine your legs, I could tell that he forced it on you. You should be grateful for your looks. They're the reason you're living a good life until now. First Kurt, and now Fabian, mocked Olivia. She continued, but you've underestimated his love for you. He's crazy about you. Why would he let you walk again? What do you mean? I forgot to tell you something. Yesterday, I made a deal with him. Fabian, he wishes for this surgery to fail. Chapter 1372. That was the last straw for Marina. Her eyes lost focus. It seems like he's going to keep you for himself forever. Olivia clicked her tongue. The high and mighty Marina is going to be someone's toy forever, huh? Those words hit home hard for Marina. But you have nothing to worry about when I'm in the operating room holding a scalpel. Even though you're my enemy, I uphold the oaths I took as a doctor. Marina couldn't really tell what Olivia really wanted. It was a long surgery. No one knew how many times Marina lost her consciousness due to the excruciating pain. Her sweat dripped into her eyes. Every time she regained consciousness, she could hear noises. Olivia was busy the entire time. Sometimes, she would be holding a hammer, other times, she would be using a chainsaw. For the first time in forever, Marina realized how scary surgery could be and how it sounded when a machine was amputating a limb. In the end, she managed to slog through the 6 hours of surgery. She thought she would have died on the operating table. The pain from her lower body had numbed her senses. She didn't know what Olivia had done to her. The door was opened, and Fabian was the first to barge into the room. After a single glance at his anxious face, Marina lost consciousness. "Doctor, how did it go?" Still wearing a mask, Olivia replied calmly, "Everything went well." His expression changed, turning into a frosty one. "I think you should explain yourself." "No need to rush, Mr. Fabian." She disposed of the bloody gloves and pulled the blanket to reveal Marina's legs. Starting from the shins, they were replaced by machinery legs. "Here's the artificial limbs I put on for her. She can walk now. In order to level up your experience in bed, I specially left her thighs untouched. Just for you." Fabian glowered, radiating a strong murderous intent. Olivia responded, unfazed, "Do you take me as a fool? I saw the traces on her when I examined her. Who else in the family can touch her other than you? Don't worry, I'm not interested in this kind of juicy stuff. Here, this is for you." She tossed over a remote control. He arched an eyebrow. "What's this?" I inserted a microchip in her legs. "From now on, no matter where she is, you'll be able to find her. There's a lockup function, too. Go to the settings if you don't want her to leave the house." The menacing expression gave way to a contented smile. "Worth the money. I expect nothing less from the miraculous doctor. It's a handsome pay. I should definitely do my part on it." He played with the remote control in his hand. "I'm afraid that's not all, isn't it? What else do you wish it could do?" She played dumb. "That's a question for you, Miss Fordham." Fabian pulled down her mask. "You're here for revenge, aren't you? As I thought, I couldn't hide it from you. But I have no plans to keep you in the dark anyway. Marina's my father's only daughter. No matter how much I wish for her death, I should spare her life. Instead, I hope we can work together, Mr. Fabian." "What do you mean?" "It's difficult for her to get pregnant after the car accident. These days, I gave her foot spas, which are beneficial for her recovery. I'll give you some prescriptions separately. That way, she should be able to get pregnant within 3 months. I sincerely hope you'll work hard so that she can mother a lot of children for the family." She flashed a smile, continuing, "What is more painful than marrying someone you don't love and being forced to give birth to his babies? Are you sure you want to go this far, Miss Fordham? This is what she owes me." "Your guess was right. The microchip comes with a self-destructing function. If you're coming after me for revenge, I can turn on the switch any time." Olivia figured that she should take precautions after learning that Fabian was one of the Kingstons. "How cruel of you, Miss Fordham. It depends on how sincere you are. Friends or foes?" Chapter 1373. Olivia found out about Fabian's acquaintance with Yale a while ago. When the culprit behind Mason's assassination was yet to be known, there was a default risk regardless. Fabian's stance didn't matter. Fortunately, Fabian had feelings for Marina. After this surgery, not only could Marina kiss the wheelchair goodbye, but Marina and Fabian would also be bound to each other forever. When Fabian later wished to set up the Heath family, Olivia had the leverage over him to bargain. Marina couldn't continue her antics even after her legs recovered too. The awful deeds Marina did could make a super long list. She almost killed Olivia and Olivia's children, ruined Olivia's marriage, and chose not to save Chloe. Marina's and Chloe's bone marrow were a match, but Marina let Chloe die for selfish reasons. Not to mention, Marina also used drugs to deteriorate Chloe's condition. Jeff also died in Marina's hands, although indirectly. For the past few years, Olivia had thought of many ways to take revenge. But the moment Jeff came to her mind, his love and upbringing, she couldn't bring herself to take it to the extreme. It softened her up. If he were still around, he wouldn't have wanted Marina to die at such a young age. Olivia sighed as she figured that she couldn't become a ruthless person after all. Although Marina need not depend on a wheelchair for her life thereafter, she would be bound with Fabian. Olivia hoped that Marina would turn over a new leaf and become a good person. Fabian wasn't foolish enough not to see Olivia's intention. She was trying to curry favor with him. "I expect nothing less from you, Miss Fordham. You're smart. So, your choice. I think there will be a lot of opportunities for us to work together in the future." His answer elicited a smile from her. "Glad to hear that. Not many words were needed between smart people. They could understand each other immediately. When Fabian was about to take Marina away, Olivia called after him, "Marina is the only Fordham descendant left. Please take care of her." He paused. "As long as she doesn't leave me, I'll love her forever. When she wakes up, tell her that everything's over between us." "Sure." After Fabian left, Olivia received a phone call. "Yes, donate $10 million under Marina Carlton's name. Allocate the donation as you please. Just make sure to use it on needy people." To the rich, $10 million was tantamount to a house, cruise ship, or a fireworks show. However, it was salvation for those suffering from natural disasters, monetary issues, and genetic illness who didn't have the money for treatment. Since Olivia received the money because of Marina, she donated the money under Marina's name. Perhaps the act could serve as an atonement for Marina's sins. Olivia went back to the yard, watching the shade of snow cascading while taking in fresh air. She thought, "Did you see that, Dad? I treated Marina for you. Hope you're glad about it." Ethan hugged her from behind. "Cheer up, Liv. I'll be by your side forever." Mixed feelings adorned her features. "I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing." "That doesn't matter. What matters more is your feelings. Does it put you at ease? It must be tiring to perform that long surgery. Come, let's head inside. I made you chicken soup. It's cold outside." She looked across her shoulder. "What about Irina? I told her everything. I'll help her out with anything materialistic, but I won't be able to give her others. Paternal love, for example." He grabbed her hand. "Liv, I miss Zach, Alicia, and Willow already. Let's take them home." Chapter 1374. Marina screamed and woke up from her dream. No, nightmare. She found herself back at the Carlton residence, not on that operating table. "You're finally awake, Marina." Otto's gaze on her was soft. "I'm alive." She glanced at her perfectly intact limbs. Those few hours were basically hell. She didn't know what Olivia had done to her. "Silly you. Of course, you are. Why don't you try walking around?" Her head felt dizzy from the confusion. Did Olivia treat her legs? Would Olivia be so kind as to do so? Lifting the blanket, Marina noticed the machinery legs replacing her shins. She drew a sharp breath in and slowly got out of bed. The solid touch, which had been absent for years, brought her to tears. "How do you feel?" "Good," asked Otto. "These are artificial legs, but I heard that they are more advanced than anything you can find in the market. You can walk and jump and run as you like. They function better than those of average people. If you're bothered by the appearance, we can look for a professional molder to shape it so that it looks more real." Marina recalled Olivia's words and questioned, "Where is she?" Fabian answered, "She said everything's over between the two of you." She flopped onto the bed with mixed feelings. Tears couldn't stop flowing down her cheeks, adorning that bitter smile of hers. I don't want her pity. Enemies. That was what they were supposed to be. However, Olivia managed to treat Marina's legs, something that not even the top orthopedists could do. "I know everything, Marina. Olivia's a good person. She put an end to the past grudges, and you can walk like a normal person from now onward. Now that you're fine, I can leave with peace of mind." She quickly said, "No, Grandpa. I want you to live. I've lost my parents. I can't lose you either." He sighed. "Death is inevitable, but I promise you to lead a good life. Attending your wedding is on my bucket list, you know." There was an unnatural shift on Fabian's face when he heard that. If Otto found out what Fabian had done to Marina, he wouldn't agree to their marriage. Although Fabian and Marina weren't blood related, only a few knew that she was Jeff's daughter. To the outsiders, she was still one of the Carltons. If she was in a relationship with Fabian, Otto would be so riled up. Noticing the awkwardness lingering in the air, the butler reminded, "Miss Carlton, Mr. Miller is here." Marina's eyes brightened, for it had been years since he last visited her on his own accord. She ran out happily while Fabian watched her with darkened eyes. Her machinery legs were hidden beneath her pajamas and slippers. Nothing was out of the ordinary. Like a happy bunny, she sprinted to the guest room, where Ethan was waiting. He appeared colder than before. "Ethan, look, my legs are perfectly fine now. She beamed. He raised his gaze onto her. I know. Liv never fails in her expertise. Her smile stiffened. Despite being the guest, the air around him made him more like the host. Sit. I have something to talk to you about. How have you been the past few years? Not wanting to have a casual talk with her, he dived right into the topic. I'd like to talk about Irina. Chapter 1375. Irina. What about her? Marina didn't know what happened while she was unconscious. Brent sent Irina back to the Carlton residence. She was still in low spirits. As soon as they arrived home, she locked herself up in her room. I'm sure Liv has told you about Connor's true identity, that she is his mother. In the past, I made a foolish yet grave mistake. Kurt entrusted you to me, so I listened to you every time and was lenient to you. And I hurt her in the end. I don't want to upset her anymore. Marina's countenance turned cold. What do you mean? You gave Irina her name. At that time, I thought I would marry you to give her a perfect childhood. Now, we have nothing to do with each other. I've explained everything that happened in the past as well. You can give her a new surname, Carlton or Fordham. Her heart throbbed at his words. In a trembling voice, she asked, what about me? Do you not love me? Not even once. We have known each other since we were young. It's been over 20 years. But have I said that I love you? Ethan questioned back. No, even if she did everything in her power to make him stay for the night that year, he simply sat on the couch the whole night. Marina coaxed him into marrying her by using Kurt's last words. He could give her anything she wished, but he never touched her. He didn't say a word of love to her before either. But I love you deeply, Ethan Miller. Why can't you give me a chance and love me? Marina Carlton, I've tolerated your antics more than enough. Changing Irina's name or surname is your decision. I'll ask Brent to come over to help you with the procedures tomorrow. He rose from his seat. Marina reached out to pull the hem of his shirt, but he turned sideways, avoiding her hand. Take care. It's just a name. Does it matter that much? Must I change it? Irina is at the age to understand how the world works. If we don't clear things up, her misunderstanding will deepen. Plus, my family will be bothered by this, too. So, you came to cut ties with me. Completely. Oh, how desperate she was to hear a negative answer from him. However, his cold voice said otherwise. Yes, from today onward, your life or death has nothing to do with me anymore. Take care. He did not even glance at her. Marina intended to chase him, but Fabian, who appeared from the corner, grabbed her wrist. Where are you going? How could you do this to me? Is Ethan the only man you see? Let go of me. Fabian, I can walk now. You can no longer control me. Even if there were no Ethan, you'd never be the one for me. She flung his hand away and headed outside. Even if she could catch up with Ethan, she didn't want to face that repulsive man ever again. Strange enough, Fabian merely watched her instead of following her. Her legs had yet to get used to the machinery connection. Marina should be resting in bed in the meantime, but everything in her was screaming to leave Fabian, even if that meant pulling the wounds. Yet, the moment she reached the gates, her legs couldn't move as if cast by magic. She couldn't take another step forward. Sweat covered her forehead. Wah, what's happening? Before she knew it, he was standing behind her with his arms crossed triumphantly. Marina, don't you think that machines listen to orders better than humans? Chapter 1376. Marina's body was working fine bar one, she couldn't control her legs. What did you do to me? Try walking backward. They could move when she was retreating, but they stopped whenever she was heading for the gates. I've set your mobility strictly within the Carlton residence. Miss Fordham is a genius indeed. She resolved a big problem of mine. Although Marina had known that Olivia would never let her go that easily, she hadn't expected Olivia to take it this far. Olivia gave Marina freedom yet caged her in the house at the same time. It was late at night by the time Olivia arrived at the Heath residence. She was tired from performing such a surgery, which needed a few hands, all alone. Not only did it take a toll on her body, but also on her mentality. In fact, attaching a prosthetic leg wasn't her forte, so it was more tiring than usual surgeries. She fell into a deep sleep as soon as she flopped in bed. Since there were people taking care of Molly, there shouldn't be any issue. On that snowy night, a lifeless Crystal sat by her bed, looking as haggard as a ghost. After she murdered Lisa, Crystal was confined in her room, and the Heaths never visited her. As though cast to oblivion, no one cared about her anymore. Although the ingredients for her meals were fresh, they were simple, like noodles and bread. It was bearable, but it couldn't be compared to her previous lavish life. Dinner was served. The food had gone cold. The dim light reflected in the soup, and the night was solemn. In the past, her family would have been worried about her for staying up at this hour. Tatiana would share her articles about young girls dying early due to lack of sleep. Linus would blabber on, advising her not to burn the midnight oil, as well as checking if something was troubling her. Crystal was no longer family to them, they perceived her as an enemy. If she wasn't pregnant, the Heaths might have started their vengeful act on her. Yale was once the reason for her happiness but became the cause of her undoing. Unlike before, throwing a tantrum wouldn't draw others' attention to help her clean her mess anymore. She crouched and dug in her cold meal. The baby had to live, only then would her sentence be alleviated. She'd rather die than go to prison. Halfway through her meal, her tears trickled down her cheeks before seeping into her food. As someone who once lived lavishly, Crystal had never suffered this much, let alone eating cold food. Furious, Crystal threw the plate onto the floor. The sight of the scattering rice pulled her senses back. She could handle the hunger, but not her baby. What if a miscarriage happened? Kneeling, she shoved the rice into her mouth as she muttered, "Sorry, baby. I won't get angry. You have to live. You must live." Choking on her food, she fed herself some cold soup. To live meant there was hope. Crystal was determined to retrieve everything that once belonged to her. At midnight, someone knocked on the door. Miss Olivia. Drowsily, Olivia put on her cardigan and opened the door. It was the butler. "What is it?" "Something happened to Crystal. Please check on her upstairs as the doctor." "Right away," she responded promptly. It'd be troublesome if something happened to someone like Crystal. Chapter 1377. Olivia ran at full speed. By the time she reached the room, everyone was there except Molly and Yale. A pungent smell filled the room. The warm temperature made it so bad that Olivia felt sick to the stomach. Suppressing the nausea, she entered the room. Mason was standing by the window, frowning. Linus guarded the door to the toilet, where a crouching Crystal was throwing up as Tatiana patted her back. Despite the deep-seated resentment, Crystal was still the daughter she raised with devotion and love. "What happened to you?" Olivia walked into the toilet. Crystal grasped Olivia by the sleeve immediately. "Olivia, save me. I don't want a miscarriage." "What happened?" "My stomach hurt, and I kept throwing up." "I know. It's Yale. I bet he wants me in prison. He added something to the food. He's trying to kill my baby to avenge Molly." Olivia didn't jump to conclusions because, to her, Yale didn't appear to be rash enough to do anything in the Heath residence. Furthermore, his anger was no longer at its peak. Molly was getting better. Plus, why would he choose to do it today? "Done throwing up. Get out of there. Let me examine your condition." Crystal's legs turned to jelly, so Tatiana supported her. Olivia cast a glance at the rice scattered on the floor and the vomiting substance near the bed, then she checked Crystal's pulse. "What did you eat?" "The maid brought me food." Horror clouded Crystal's features. "I know you hate me, but please save my baby. Please, do it for the baby's sake, at least." Her baby was her last ray of hope. Withdrawing her hand, Olivia comprehended the entirety of the situation. If it's a miscarriage, your belly should be hurting, and you should be bleeding, not vomiting. Did you eat anything dirty or cold that's bad for your stomach? "So, you mean my baby is fine?" Olivia answered seriously, "It is, for now. There are 3 types of acute gastroenteritis: bacterial, viral, and parasitic. A blood test and stool test are needed to confirm which one it is. I can't do them here. Grandpa, I suggest sending her to the hospital immediately. If the vomiting or diarrhea keeps up, it'll be bad for the baby." Tatiana muttered, "She has always grown up healthy. Why does she suddenly have gastroenteritis? Linus, take her to the hospital. Crystal lit up at that, looking at Tatiana with eyes teeming with anticipation. Mom, I knew you're still. Yet Tatiana's words turn cold at the next second. You can't die in the Heath residence. How many times do I have to tell you that I'm not your mother? I don't have a ruthless daughter like you. I guess this is karma. Thank God you're not my daughter. Who knows if you suddenly go berserk and want me dead, too. The glint in Crystal's eyes slowly lost its brilliance. But we've lived together for so long. You better not bring that up in front of me. If it wasn't for your mother, my biological daughter wouldn't have needed to suffer so much out there. It was all your fault. Tatiana clasped her hand over her chest. Linus, make some time to change her surname. I can't bear the sight of her sharing the same surname as us. Crystal cried, Mom, I have never thought of harming you. You're always my mother to me. Shut up. Do not wake Molly up, or you'll get it from me. Linus, hurry, take her. Take her out of my sight. Mom, zip it. Do you know why I gave my daughter the name Crystal? I wished for her to be a faithful follower of God and grow up to be a decent person, but you're the polar opposite. The total opposite. You don't deserve to own this name. And you don't deserve to call me Mom, either. Chapter 1378. As much as she had loved Crystal, Tatiana was brimming with resentment because Crystal was the cause of Molly's near-death incident. To think that Crystal, the fake Miss Heath, was dreaming to be the real one. Ridiculous. Even after Crystal was taken to the hospital, the sheer sight of the room infuriated Tatiana. Clear out this room. Sell the jewelry and bags if possible and burn the others. They're bad omen, she ordered the butler. Yes, Mrs. Heath. Olivia, I'm terribly sorry for waking you up at this late hour. Tatiana had softened her edges toward Olivia after the series of incidents. Don't mind it. This is my duty. Olivia rubbed her eyes, returning to her room to get back to sleep. Morning came. While the ladies were having breakfast, they received a piece of news. Mrs. Heath, something came up. Crystal escaped. The bodyguard reported. How come? Tatiana set her cutleries down. She did undergo a few examinations. But there was an influx of patients in the ER because a bus toppled over at dawn. She seized the chance to run away during the chaos. Speculation flashed across Olivia's mind. I think I know what's going on. Crystal stabbed Lisa on purpose. What? Why would she do that? We've fallen for Lisa's trap. She knew that nothing could be done to turn the tables. The only thing she could do is to protect her daughter. That was why Crystal played the victim and escaped. Since Lisa was hurt, we couldn't call the cops, and she managed to buy Crystal some time. If my guess is right, Lisa has escaped, too. Tatiana looked at the bodyguard. Keep Lisa under strict surveillance. If everything goes smoothly, we can proceed with the legal procedures right away. All right, Mrs. Heath. The bodyguard left in haste. But he returned within a few minutes. Mrs. Heath, Lisa has vanished as well. It was as Olivia expected. Darn it. Tatiana slammed the table and stood. How dare she set me up? Grandma, I'm afraid Lisa has long thought of a plan B. She has worked at the Heath residence for many years. There must be a few people on her side. It's not that difficult to update her now and then. Although Crystal didn't know that Lisa was her biological mother back then, Crystal would do as she was told to free herself. Olivia continued, but there's nothing much to worry about. As long as we freeze their cards and seal the routes, they wouldn't dare to leave through any means. Unless they can live like the rodents in the gutter, where they can use the money they have. Lisa could do it, but maybe not Crystal. You're right. Crystal's a spoiled child. Old habits die hard. It won't be easy to live a frugal life after a luxurious one. Let's see how long she can hide herself. Tatiana contacted Linus to freeze every account the Walkers own. Meanwhile, Olivia reminded Molly, don't leave the house for the time being, just in case. If I was Crystal, I would definitely put you as my first target. She hates you for stealing everything away from her. Now that she's run to a dead end, she's going to drag you down for sure. Molly gave a meek nod. Got it. I'll stay here and not go anywhere. An easy mission for her, considering that she was used to a quiet life. I've underestimated Lisa. Grandma, she was the one who switched the babies. That's not something any person could do. Crystal is her biggest weakness. Once we freeze their account and seal the roots, she'd show herself. But you should definitely eliminate the moles under this roof. Otherwise, someone might reveal our moves to Lisa. Tatiana nodded. I'm glad you're here, Olivia. Crystal was the reason why Tatiana hated Olivia in the beginning, but Olivia gradually impressed Tatiana with charm. As much as her faith grew in Olivia, Tatiana started to take a liking to Olivia. Chapter 1379. The Heaths' investigation caused people to feel uneasy. Molly was a little worried about it. Yale comforted her gently. No one can hurt you if you stay in the Heath residence. Yale, I know you've already sent people to look for Crystal. What would you do to her when you find her? Yale was overjoyed that Crystal lost the Heath family's protection. Without that, she would be doomed when she fell into his hands. It had been so many days. And even though Molly's baby had to be aborted, Yale would feel intense emotions, including remorse, anger, and bloodlust, in the middle of the night. Molly knew what he was going through. That was why she would always put up a brave front when there were people around her. She didn't want him to worry. She was the victim but was trying her best to help everyone else feel better. Yale was consumed by darkness, and Molly was his only light. But her presence wasn't enough to drive away all the darkness in his heart. His hatred was still festering. He couldn't wait for Crystal to feel the pain he had been through. Molly, just focus on recovering. Leave the rest to us. Yale, you were the one that pursued Crystal. You also made her pregnant. I know she's a bad person, but she is also a victim. At the very least, that baby is your blood, can you? No, Yale knew what she wanted to say. He turned her down immediately. That's what she owes you. Molly reached out and wrapped an arm around Yale's neck and sobbed. What if I can't get pregnant, and you don't want to have a baby with someone else? Her baby will be your only heir. I think. You don't have to worry about that. I don't care about these things. You know that. You're all I care about. I just want us to be happy together. Yale patted her head tenderly. Rest well. He left the Heath residence in the middle of the night. Molly lay in bed and cried into her pillow. She didn't know what she should do. She couldn't do anything anyway and could only stay home and wait. At times like these, she felt jealous of Olivia, who was like a bird soaring freely in the sky. Olivia could rest in the Heath residence when she was tired and spread her wings to go wherever she wanted when she craved freedom. Molly couldn't even open the window for fresh air, as the cold winds would make her cough profusely. Olivia wasn't staying at the Heath residence that night, either. Ethan bought a lot of things. They sat side by side, preparing decorations and waiting for their children to return. As she watched Ethan prepare the decorations with a serious expression, Olivia felt like she was dreaming. They never did such things back when they were married. Ethan used to be very busy. He spent most of his time at work. Olivia asked softly, "How is Jack doing?" Jack was like a brother to her. Ethan wasn't jealous. He is strong, so he is recovering quickly. Don't worry, my people are taking good care of him. Have you gotten to the bottom of it? Who were the people that wanted to hurt Grandpa? Was it the Kingstons? Yale isn't bold enough to try something like that. Some overseas organizations wanted to work with the Kingston family. Yale caught news of it and wanted to take the opportunity to save Mr. Heath to gain his favor. Olivia frowned. Overseas organizations. Could it be Wayne? Chapter 1380. Wayne had been building military bases in areas surrounding Arlandia. It was obvious what he was up to. Ethan would never talk about classified information like this with Olivia in the past. But things had changed. He was willing to talk to her as an equal on these matters at that point. There are 5 superpowers in the world right now. Other than Arlandia, there's Wayne's Carathea and Vutrin, where the princess you saved hailed from. 2 other countries have claimed to remain neutral, but they have been making moves in secret. Where there are people, there is conflict. Countries certainly are the same. In terms of military might, Zealotria and Hucrail are the strongest. Are they the ones? That's right. There's someone you know in Zealotria. Do you remember Avery Fordham? The Fordham family is the most influential family in Zealotria. They are a force to be reckoned with, be it financially or politically. The mention of Avery sent Olivia down memory lane. It felt like her last meeting with Avery was decades ago. I wonder if he got a new kidney. I heard that he got a transplant 3 years ago. Although there hasn't been much news about him recently, he should still be alive. That's good. Is Zealotria linked to Grandpa's assassination? No, the current leads I have are linked to Hugh Crail. But I only have leads, no proof. Hugh Crail, the Kingstons are colluding with them. Ethan nodded. There wasn't anyone else in the room, so he wasn't afraid that the information might get leaked. Do you know why Mr. Heath has been unwilling to associate with Yale and the Kingston family? Yale is just a pawn of the Heath family. The illegal cruise ships weren't the only things that they were doing in secret. Although everyone has skeletons in their closets, the Kingstons are really the worst. If they were to join with the Heaths in marriage, even the Heaths would be affected when the situation goes south. Then, why are the Kingstons still allowed to exist? You destroy them, and more will come to take their place. Besides, Mr. Kingston Sr. used to be Mr. Heath's superior. They might have some dealings in secret, too. Olivia was a little overwhelmed with the information. Does that mean Yale could never marry Molly? That should be the case. But, a miracle could always happen. The Kingston family won't be able to change that fact, but Yale might be able to. Ethan raised his head to look at Olivia. Yale might be living in the Heath residence, but him marrying Molly would be harder than the two of us getting married again. Olivia rubbed her nose guiltily. Why would you bring that up so suddenly? Ethan understood that she didn't want to talk about a remarriage, so he changed the subject. Liv, is it okay if we get going the day after? I've already finished making arrangements for the tasks I have on hand. Olivia raised an eyebrow. You used to be the busiest during the time before the new year. And now you're saying we can leave in a couple of days. I've handed off some of my responsibilities to Yale and Linus. Ethan winked at her. It's thanks to you. Yale still needs your help to nurse Molly back to health. So, we've temporarily set aside our differences. He's also willing to listen to my demands. Well, aren't you acting smug about it? Ethan stopped what he was doing and pulled Olivia into his arms. I was placed into the military by my grandfather at a young age. So, I've been conditioned to sacrifice myself for the country. I've been working hard for most of my life. In my remaining days, I just want to be with you and the kids. Even if it's just doing menial tasks like decorating the house. We haven't seen them in so long. They must have grown a lot.